This is my girlfriend Ray, and today we're going to be replacing CV joints on her 1984 Volkswagen Vanagon. I want to bring you guys along just in case you guys are going to be doing this job shortly, or maybe you have a Vanagon and you've never replaced CV joints, and maybe you took it to the shop and they quoted you way too much money when you could just do it at home. I've replaced a couple CV joints in my lifetime, but Ray has never, so she's going to be doing this entire job all by herself. A CV joint, or constant velocity joint, it's kind of like a U-joint you see in American vehicles, and it's just a mechanical component normally in front-wheel drive cars or any vehicle that has a transaxle. That's when the drive shafts come in and out of the transmission itself, and they're used to transfer power from the transmission to the drive wheel at a constant velocity. And the reason we use CV joints is so we could allow the wheel to articulate and still have the transmission fixed into place in the vehicle. So the wheel will articulate and the transmission will stay in place. This is an assembled axle with the CV joints already on. So one side will be connected to the transaxle while the other side is connected to the wheel hub, spinning the wheel. There's a few different options that you could go with when replacing your CVs on your Volkswagen Vanagon. The popular option is to go with some 944 CVs because the spline in the middle here goes onto the stock axle for the Vanagon. Another popular option is the 913 if you're looking for a high angle and a very strong joint. However, with those you have to replace the flanges on the transmission and on the hub going to the wheel. If you're going to be running your van at stock ride height and not doing any crazy off-roading, I mean, these are just two-wheel drive Vanagons after all, then it is okay to go with the stock German CV joint. Since we're planning on lifting this yellow 1984 van, we're gonna go with something a little different because we're looking for high angle and something strong enough that it's not gonna explode on us when pushing all of this power from this 1.9 water boxer through them. It turns out that T3 Technique has made some joints that actually cater towards what we're actually looking for here. These have been specially designed to handle a higher angle for a lifted two-wheel drive Vanagon or even a Synchro. And they have the bigger cage with the bigger ball bearings so they can handle the power as well. I'm running some Porsche 944 CVs in my 1985 Volkswagen Vanagon, and that's just because I swapped them out a couple years ago before these things even existed. There are two reasons you'll want to replace your CV joints on either your Volkswagen Vanagon or any vehicle that has constant velocity joints. The first reason is that your boot has ripped and there's grease flying everywhere. Once the boot rips, it'll introduce dirt, grime, road grime, sand if you're driving near a beach, or mud, anything inside of that grease for the CV joint, and that is no good. The lifespan of your CV joint will deplenish greatly. And the other reason is because you're hearing some ticking coming from the rear of your van. If you hear that ticking noise or clunking, the chances of it being a CV joint is very high. Well, I guess there's a third reason as well. If you completely explode your CV joint and your drive shaft, one of your drive shafts, then, well, that's a pretty easy one to figure out. And I guess that brings me to the subject on CV boots. I have scrolled through so many Samba forums on CV boots, and I've also used quite a number of CV boots, and I have discovered which ones I like and which ones I don't like. Now, believe it or not, I like winter camping. I like staying in the colder climates, and one really popular option for CV boots is the Rockfords. They're a thicker rubber and less malleable, and I ran those for a couple years, and it just turns out once they slip off of this little flange here, it's really hard to get back on when it's like 10 degrees outside and you're trying to work this boot onto the flange. I don't like them. I've tried the G&Ks, I've tried the Lowbros, or I've tried all different flavors of CV boots, and I've come up with the conclusion that I love these 100mm boots from T3 Technique. So I've been running them in my van for a couple years now, and they seem to last the longest. They're silicone, and they have a lot of angle on them. If you have too much angle, then the ribs are gonna touch and they'll probably split, but these have lasted me quite a while. So that obviously was my first option when ordering up CVs and CV boots for Ray's van here. I guess it's that time to show you guys how to remove an axle out of a 1984 Volkswagen Vanagon. This is the manual transmission, so it's gonna vary whether you have an automatic or a manual. The first step is you wanna jack up your van. Step number 2 is remove the CV bolts from the transmission side of the axle. Now when removing the bolts out of the transaxle hub or the wheel hub side, you need to be really careful not to strip out these little bolts here. Now there's a few different options depending on what bolt style you have. Now this is like a triple square. Regardless of what fits in there, try and get whatever size it is perfectly matched with the bolt in here, and give it a few taps with the hammer. If that Allen isn't fully seated inside of the bolt, you can risk stripping it out, and that will make this job way harder. If you can't get the Allen in there, get a little pick or a little screwdriver and clean out the little Allens or triple square bolts before you hammer in your bit. And then of course, step number 3 is remove the CV bolts from the wheel hub side of the axle inside of the swing arm. The easiest way to replace your CV joints on your Volkswagen Vanagon is to have your girlfriend do it, and then you don't have to do any work yourself. Before we get our hands a little too dirty, I want to thank the sponsor of this portion of today's video, Extra. I believe that every season is travel season. The only difficult thing about it is packing. So that's why I'm stoked Extra sent me out their Travel Pack Vacuum Kit. The Travel Pack Vacuum Kit is a space-saving solution for travelers. It essentially allows you to triple your packing space by compressing your clothes. The vacuum bags are carry-on size, designed to maximize space in your travel bag. And they're made from durable anti-tear nylon, so they're gonna last for many trips to come. I personally like to use their portable rechargeable air pump since it's so packable and versatile, but realistically you could use any vacuum cleaner to compress the bag. You can save 60% more space in your suitcase, backpack, or carry-on. Secondly, I want to show you Extra's wallet. It's half the size of a conventional wallet, but it carries over 12 cards and cash. You can access all your cards with the click of a button, and my favorite part is made of environmentally friendly vegan Italian leather. And this trigger mechanism is space-grade aluminum. The solar-powered tracking device lets you track your wallet's location from your phone. You can use a two-way ringing feature or just receive separation alerts. Just 2 hours in the sun equals 3 months of charge. You can use code Sebastian Stoneham to receive discounts on Extra's website, or click the first link into the description below. And thank you so much to Extra for sponsoring this section of today's video. Alright, let's go play with some CV joints. The reason you want to wipe out all of the excess grease that's already on your old CV joint is so you could access the snap ring. The snap ring is located on the end of the axle shaft, holding this inner part of the CV here onto the shaft. It's nice if you have a pair of snap ring pliers to remove the snap ring from the shaft itself, but if you don't, then a couple of flatheads will do the job just fine, just a little bit more effort. Alright, so if you grab the axle shaft and then like cup it like that and try turning it like in a circular motion, if you find any play that way, that means that your CV joint is kind of on its last legs. You could take off both outer parts by twisting it, and then the race should come out with it. To remove the CV joint off of the axle itself, well, we're getting a little creative here because I don't have a hydraulic jack with me right now or a puller. We do have logs and jacks. So here's what we got going on. So we're just acting like this is the base of the hydraulic jack, and then Ray is gonna be the hydraulic part. Whoever installed these CV joints originally, or whenever they did CVs last, they didn't do it right. And for everyone's favorite part, installing the CV onto the axle shaft. What I like to do is set the bottom end of the shaft on a piece of wood, not cement, not metal, you don't want this to mushroom out. You set on a piece of wood and then take the inner part of the CV here and get it started on the splines first. Once it's started on the splines, get a big enough socket that you don't really care about, or one that's hardened. You want it to fit over the shaft, but not over the inner part of the CV. And with the bottom end of the shaft on a piece of wood, you can start hammering and pressing the inner part of the CV onto the shaft. Sometimes it'll take a lot of hammering, and sometimes it should just slide right onto the splines. You want to be extremely careful with the inner cage here, making sure not to hammer it because you do not want to crack this. And something to note, there is a washer at the bottom for some CV joints. Some of the newer ones don't come with them, but if they are provided in the CV joint kit, then I recommend using it. Once the inner part of the CV joint is fully seated onto the washer, if it has a washer, go ahead and install the C-clip into the groove of the CV shaft so this thing doesn't walk off. To ensure that the CV joint is clocked correctly, you want to take note of the inner part of the CV. The top should be flat and the bottom should have a little groove on it, and that goes towards the shaft. As for the cage, the top should be flat just like that, and the bottom will have a little indentation, allowing for maximum angle in relation to the shaft. Once you're set up like this, you could go ahead and install the balls and the outer part of the CV joint. The outer part of the CV joint should have a line on the outside of it. I say it's the outside because I've always put it on the outside like that. The outer part of the CV joint goes over the inner part and the race. You want to make sure that the wide section on the outer part of the CV joint matches up with the skinny section on the inner part of the CV joint. If you end up clocking it like this, where it's skinny on skinny and you get all your balls in, this isn't going to have any articulation and it's going to bind up significantly. So make sure that it's clocked with the wide part and the skinny part. And with that said, you can start installing the balls. This could be a little bit fidgety, but just keep working the balls around and constantly moving the race and the outer part of the CV joint. This part is just personal preference, but I like assembling one CV joint, and now you can see the full articulation of this joint now that it's installed. But I like to get one on and then flip it around, so I'm not dealing with any grease or any boots that are in the way on the shaft. But now that I have one on, I could take my boots and slide them on and out of the way. So I got that one slid down here, and I'll take this one, flip it around, and install it on the top. And I'll go ahead and slide that one all the way down so it's out of the way. And then I'll start working on this next one. I'll get this installed and then I'll go ahead and grease both of them. What I like to do for greasing them is I'll pull the boot back as much as I can and then pull the CV joint out and then push grease through the joint through the back. When I'm pushing grease through the back, I can see how much goes through the joint itself. Once I see grease is in the middle of the joint, then I call it good. Then I can slide my boot up and cover up all of that grease, giving myself a clean working area right here. Clean out all of the bolt holes. You don't want grease on the bolts. And then install the bolts with the lock washers and the load distribution plates. And then before I slap it in the van, I'll get a good handful of grease and lather it in the top here, because you could make it a little cup. Lather it in there, making sure that all of those balls are well greased, and then I'll go ahead with the installation process back into the van, which is pretty much reversive removal. However, when torquing down the CV axle bolt into the van on those flanges, I personally torque them to 25 foot-pounds and then check them every so often. I think the book calls for 33 foot-pounds, but that always seems like a little bit too much for those bolts. And the last thing I want to be doing is extracting a broken bolt or retapping stripped threads. So I don't mind torquing them down to 25 foot-pounds and then checking them periodically.